Hello students, in this video we are doing chemistry. So the topic which we are doing is chapter States of Matter part 2. As we have already done in part 1, we are now aware that what actually the matter is, and we have already done the kinetic molecular theory also. And we have also done the diffusion, Brownian movement, osmosis, that is the phenomena that actually help, or you can say that supports the kinetic molecular theory of matter. So in this part 2, we'll be taking few more important topics. So let's see. So the topics to be covered in this video are, we'll see the different states of matter, we'll study the properties of solids, liquid and gases, we'll differentiate between solid, liquid and gases depending upon their properties, and we'll see the interconversion of states, that how the states can be interconverted. So now, let's start with the physical classification now. As we have already done, that physical classification is the classification which is done on the basis of physical properties. And you all know that physical properties are those which can be seen, which can be feel, or so on, right? Like we talk about the colors, we talk about the softness or hardness of a substance, we can talk about the density, we can talk about its viscosity. There are a lot of things. So depending upon those physical properties, we classify the matter into 3 types. And those types are solids, liquids, and gases. So as you can see that these are the 3 types, and these 3 actually form the matter. So the basic states of matter are solid, liquid and gas. Now let us look on their structure, that how the particles are arranged in them. As you can see in solids, that particles are very tightly packed. You get to see that there are hardly few spaces which are present between the particles of solid, or you can say between the molecules of solid. But if you compare with liquids, you see that there are certain spaces which are present between the particles. So in comparison to solid, they are less tightly packed and there exist the spaces between the particles. And now let's move on to gas. So in gas, we have seen that the molecules are quite far from each other and the space between them is huge. That is, there is a lot of space between the particles of the gas. So depending upon this arrangement, or you can say these properties, actually you can say that give rise to different properties of these states, that is the solid, liquid and gas. So let's study about the properties of solid first. Let's take a few examples first, because if you think of certain examples, then you can easily learn these properties. So you know that solids are like, we talk about chair, we can talk about table. You can see in the picture, this is the log of wood, right? You know about pen, you know about almirah, bed, AC, computer. These all things are solids. So solids have fixed shape and volume. That is, their shape is definite and even their volume is definite. Like if you keep this log of wood here, it is going to remain as same. It will have the fixed shape, the shape won't change, and even the volume is going to be fixed. They are not compressible. What do you mean by compressibility, or what is the property that defines the compressibility? See, compressibility is something like you have particles like this. If you have particles like this, and if I try to apply pressure from this side and pressure from this side, and what will happen? When we'll apply the pressure from both the sides, these particles will come closer and now they will occupy the lesser volume as compared to this thing, because we have already applied the pressure, and pressure actually make these particles move closer to each other. This is what is compressibility. So now we have seen that in case of solids, they are not compressible. We cannot compress them. As you saw their structure in the previous slides, that they are tightly packed. They are tightly packed. Now, do you think that if we'll apply the pressure from both the sides, we'll be able to make them more closer? No, because there are no spaces between them. So compressibility is not possible. So that is the reason they are not compressible. Next point is, they don't need container to hold them. Because they are solids, you don't put them in container. Like if I talk about bed, do you keep the bed in container? No, we can't. And even we don't do that. And even if we talk about the log of wood, do you put them in container and store? No, they are not, they don't require container to hold them. The another property is they do not flow, or you can say they do not move on their own. Right. So because they are not fluids, and you know that they are so strongly packed and their forces are quite high, because whenever anything is closer, so the attractive forces is somehow more. Like if I talk about you and your best friend, because you both stay closer to each other, or you have a strong bonding between yourselves. So that is the reason that if I talk about you and your best friend, as you both share a common feeling that you both like each other, or you can say you are closer to each other, or you share a strong bond of friendship, so that means you will not start flowing towards the another friend. You will remain confined in your friendship. Your best friend is going to remain your best friend. It won't be replaced because you share a strong bond. But if the bond is not strong, then there is a chance that you might change your best friend. You make somebody else your best friend. That is, you're replacing your best friend. The reason being the bond wasn't strong in that case. Likewise, in solids, we know that the forces are quite strong. That is, the strong attractive force is holding them. So that is the reason they don't flow. They don't flow. And that is the reason they don't diffuse, because the forces are strong. So how come they will diffuse? We know that diffusion is the movement of substance from higher concentration to lower, but that is possible only if the forces are less and the spaces are more. And in this, you can see that the spaces are almost nil and the forces are quite high. So the diffusion tendency is almost nil. The solid particles, they have very less tendency to move from one place to another. That is, from the higher concentration region to the lower concentration region. Now let us explain these properties of solids according to their molecular structure. As you saw that in solids, the particles are tightly packed. As you can see now also that how tightly they are packed with each other. And due to the strong packing, the intermolecular space is very less. That is, the space between particle is almost nil. And because the space is nil, that means they are much closer, and that is the reason the attractive force that holds them, that is the intermolecular force, is quite stronger. So this makes them to have fixed shape and volume, and this is the reason they can't be compressed. So I think you got it, that why they possess fixed shape, why they possess fixed volume, and why they can't be compressed. And even this is the reason, that is their molecular structure, this so compact structure that they are not able to diffuse also. And even they can't flow also. So the reason being the forces are strong and the spaces are almost nil. Now let's see the properties of liquids. As you know that water is a liquid, alcohol is a liquid, benzene is a liquid. So we come across so many liquids, right? So what are the properties of these liquids? Liquids possess fixed volume, that is the volume remain fixed, but they don't have fixed shape. They actually need a container to be stored. They actually need a container for the storage, and they acquire the shape according to the container. So that means they don't have fixed volume. So that means they have fixed volume, but no fixed shape, and they need a container to hold them. And accordingly, they acquire a shape according to the shape of the container. And if we talk about the compressibility, then in them also, the particles are not so closely packed like in solids, but still they are quite compact. So due to which the force is quite high and the spaces are few. So this is the reason that they are also not compressed up to that extent. So we can say that even in this state, the compressibility is negligible. They have less density because you see that the particles are quite far from each other. And when the particles are compactly or tightly packed, so the mass per unit volume is high. So the substance possess high density like the solids have. But in this case, the density is less because they are not that much compact. And we see that they can easily diffuse because there are certain spaces between them. So they can diffuse, not so much, not that much is the diffusing tendency, not that much is the diffusing, not, it's not that they can easily diffuse because of the intermolecular spaces that are present between them. Now let us explain these properties based on their molecular structure. As I told you that the particles are closely packed but not as close as they are seen in solids, due to which the spaces between them is quite more, but the force between them is less as compared to the solids. Now let us see what are the properties of gases. Gases, you know, nitrogen is a gas, hydrogen is a gas. You come across air around us, that is a mixture of gases. Again, this is also a gas. Carbon dioxide is a gas, monoxide is a gas. So there are a lot of gases which you actually know. So if we talk about their properties, they have neither fixed shape nor fixed volume. That means their shape is also not fixed and even their volume is not fixed. But they have high compressibility because the molecules of gas are far apart. So there are a lot of intermolecular spaces between them. So I'll write that intermolecular spaces are quite high in them and intermolecular force is not strong, or you can say it's almost nil because they are far apart. So that is the reason they can be highly compressible. So if you apply force on them from both the sides, they can compress to a very small volume. Very small volume. Like you see that in house you make use of cylinders, that is LPG cylinders. So in that the petroleum gas which is used for cooking, that is being compressed and it becomes the liquefied petroleum gas. That it is so much compressed that you see that it is compressed into a cylinder that you make use for cooking. Likewise, the another property is that they can flow in all direction. The reason being because the force between them is almost nil. So they have the tendency to flow in all direction. That is, their diffusion tendency is quite high. They can fill the entire space of the container. They can actually fill the entire space. The reason being because the forces again are almost nil and spaces are high, and they have the tendency to move because they possess higher kinetic energy. So that is the reason they can fill the entire space of the container. The diffusion part we have already discussed that they have high diffusion tendency. But if we talk about the density, that is very less. The reason being the mass per unit volume in a given sample is very less because they have the tendency to move apart, or you can say that the particles are far apart from each other in case of gas. Now let's explain the properties of gas on the basis of molecular structure of gases. We have seen that in gases, the particles are far apart from each other, due to which the space between them is quite high and force between them is almost nil. So that is the reason it neither possesses fixed volume nor shape, and its diffusion tendency is also quite high, and that is the reason that it can be compressed up to a great extent. Now let's sum up the properties of solids, liquids and gas. So first we talk about their shape and volume. So if we talk about shape and volume, we have seen that for solids the shape is definite and even the volume is definite. And for liquids there is no definite shape, but yes, they possess fixed volume. And for gases, they neither possess definite shape nor fixed volume. If we talk about the structure of particles, so we have seen that in solids they are compactly arranged. So we can see that we can say that the position of particles is fixed. In liquids they are quite apart from each other, not that much apart, but still there are few spaces. So we can say that the particles cannot get away from each other, but yes, they have a freedom to move. In case of gases, the particles are nearly independent of each other. They can move wherever they want to. So they can move as far away they want. Third, let's talk about the forces, intramolecular forces. In solids, the intramolecular forces are quite high because they are so compactly arranged. So, in case of liquids, the forces are much weaker as compared to solids. And in gases, the forces are almost nil because they are far apart from each other. Let's talk about the constituent particles. The constituent particles, in them, there is no limit. But in liquids, there is only one free surface. And in gases, the constituent particles are nil because they are very away from each other. If we talk about the spaces between them is very, very small. The spaces between them is very small. In liquids, the intermolecular space, if we talk about is intermolecular space, they have more than solids. And in gases, the intermolecular spaces are very large. Now let's talk about the rigidity. So if we talk about the rigidity, they are quite rigid because particles are tightly packed. In liquids, the rigidity is lower than solids, and that is the reason they are called as fluids. And in gases, there is no rigidity, and again, they are also called as fluids because they have tendency to flow. So liquids and gases both are regarded as fluids. Next, we have kinetic energy. So if we talk about the kinetic energy between the particles, in solids, the kinetic energy is least. And if we talk about liquids, they have you can say somehow kinetic energy, but not that much like gases, or you can say not less as the solid possess. So they have some sort of kinetic energy between them. But in gases, the kinetic energy is maximum. The kinetic energy is maximum. Now let's talk about their density. If we talk about that, what is the mass per unit volume in a given sample? If we take a same sample for solid, liquid and gas, so what is the mass per unit volume present in that given sample? So we have seen that if we talk about the density, they possess high density because they are closely packed. Liquid possess less density and gases possess least density because mass per unit volume is almost nil in that case. Now we have compressibility. We have seen that we cannot compress solids because there are no spaces between them. But we can slightly compress liquids, but as far as the gases are concerned, they are highly compressible due to presence of large intramolecular spaces. Now next we have is effect of heat, that what will happen if you heat them. So if you will heat them, they will not expand much. But if you heat liquid, they will expand a little more than the solid but less than the gases. And if we talk about gases, they have to have the tendency to expand to a greater extent. Now if we talk about diffusion, solids do not diffuse. So the diffusion is nil in that case. Liquid diffuse more easily than solids, but not again up to that extent like the gases. And gases have high diffusion tendency because intramolecular spaces are very, very high and the forces are almost nil. So these are the differences that you can sum up between the properties of solids, liquid and gases. Now let's do question and answers. First question is, what is critical temperature? Critical temperature is a temperature at which the gas liquefies. Critical temperature is a temperature at which gas liquefies. That means the gas changes to liquid state. The first question is The first question is differentiate between vapor and gas. See, often we get confused between these two terms, that whether these terms are alike or they are different. So they are actually different. There is a huge difference between vapor and a gas. What is that? Let's start with gas. A substance which exists as gas under an ordinary condition is called as gas. Like you come across oxygen gas, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, they are all gases at ordinary temperature. So they are existing in gaseous state. That is the reason they are called as or termed as or classified as gas. But if a substance is occurring in solid or liquid state at room temperature, but when you are applying the specific condition, then it is changing to a gaseous state, then it is called as vapor. Now, how vapor is formed? Vapor is formed when solid or liquid is heated, then it forms vapor. But it can be returned to its original state by applying high pressure. But if we talk about gas, gas is going to remain as gas. But if you apply high pressure and low temperature, then you can change its state to liquid or solid. We can actually liquefy vapors. That is, we can convert this gaseous state, that is the vapor, back into the original state, that is the liquid state. But we cannot, but in case of gas, they are liquefied by lowering temperature below its critical temperature. That means if you want to liquefy the gas, you have to lower its temperature below its critical temperature. Critical temperature is the temperature when the gas liquefies. It is a point, actually, a specific temperature when gas can be converted into liquid. But otherwise, if we talk about under ordinary condition, it exists as gas only. Another question is, why iron almirah is regarded as solid? We all know that iron almirah is solid, but why it is regarded as solid? It is because it possesses fixed shape and fixed volume. It cannot be compressed. It doesn't need any container to hold. It doesn't flow, and even it has no tendency to diffuse. These all are the characteristics of any solid substance. So if you come across any question in which any solid is taken and it is being asked that why it is regarded as solid, so you can simply write down the properties of solids, that these are the reasons that this substance exists as solid. Next question is, why gases can diffuse more than solid and Next question is, why gases can diffuse more than solids and liquids? The gases can diffuse much easily as they have more intermolecular spaces and least intermolecular force between the particles. So as in gases, the particles are loosely arranged, the forces are almost nil and spaces are high. That is the reason they can easily flow from higher concentration to lower concentration region. Next question is, write two difference between solid and liquid. So we need to write any two difference between solid and liquid. So let's write down. If we talk about solids, they have fixed shape and even they have fixed volume. But if we talk about liquid, they have fixed volume but no definite shape. So the first difference is this. Second is this, the intermolecular forces are quite high in them and intermolecular space is almost nil. But if we talk about liquids, intermolecular forces are strong, but they are less than solids. And if we talk about spaces, so intermolecular spaces are present, but not that much, but still they are more than solids. Next question is, differentiate between liquid and gases in terms of their density and compressibility. So let's write down that we have liquids and gases. First property is density. So if we talk about density, density is mass per unit volume in a given sample, right? So if we talk about liquids, they possess high density in comparison to gas. The reason being, in this the particles are, you can say, somehow compact, but in gases they are far apart. So mass per unit volume is more in case of liquid as compared to gas. Now, second is compressibility. Liquids can not be that much compressed. They can't be compressed like gases. Or you can say they can't be that much compressed. But gases are highly compressible. compressible. The reason being that in gases, intermolecular spaces are quite high and intermolecular force is almost nil. But in case of liquids, the intermolecular forces are not nil. They have the intermolecular force possess some magnitude, that is they are not nil, and the spaces between them is not that much as in gas. So we can say that in liquids they are difficult to compress, but still they can be little how compressed, but in gases they are highly compressible. Next question is, define the terms density, compressibility and diffusion. So what is density? Mass per unit volume is termed as density. So we can write as mass per unit volume in given sample of substance is called as its density. Right. So as we know, solids have very high density, liquids have moderate, and gases have least density. Second is compressibility. Compressibility is the property in which we try to move the particles closer to each other. How? By applying pressure. So it is a property in which we try to make the particles closer to each other by applying external pressure. So this is what is compressibility. Third is diffusion. Diffusion is movement of any substance from the region of its higher concentration to a region of its lower concentration. So you can just pen it down. Diffusion is a tendency of a substance to move from the region of its higher concentration to the region of its low concentration. And we know that the solids can't diffuse, liquids can diffuse a bit, and gases can diffuse up to a very high extent. The reason being the intermolecular spaces are quite high, and even the gaseous particles possess high kinetic energy. Thank you for watching this video. For more learning experience, you can visit www.vosserax.com. So with this, we finish part 2, in which we have learned about the properties of solid, liquid and gas. So now it's the time to start with part 3, in which we are going to do the interconversion of states of matter.